we don't need roads.
Seriously, Mr. Castle, what an honor, man. Seriously, thank you so much for taking the time.
Sure, good to see you again in person.
Yes, actually
Yeah.
in person this time. So I normally wasn't going to start out this way, but we're sitting in front of a piece of history. For people who are watching this and they don't know what's behind us, tell people what that car is.
Well, this is the vehicle that I drove in 1978 that got old Michael out of the sanitarium and into the wilds of Haddonfield. And then he used, I don't know how he knew how to drive, big question mark. Did he have driver's ed there? Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, Michael stole this car and stalked some of the young ladies of the high school. And this is the exact vehicle found by a collector, and he brought it to this particular convention we're at in Chicago. And first time, I don't know if it's the first time we've seen it, but I think the fans will have a lot of fun.
It's the first time I've seen it, and it's always such a trip because I love the idea of this story taking place in small town Illinois, because it makes it even more personal for us, which I think is fantastic. I want to start out with one of my favorite pieces of movie trivia of all time, which is the origins of Michael's mask.
Sure.
When they come to you on set and they say, all right, dude, we've got the mask, it's a William Shatner mask. How do you respond to that? What do you do? Do you say, what do you mean it's a William Shatner mask?
Well, it didn't happen quite like that for me. First of all, the mask was already chosen and there. Mm-hmm. And so I know that John and Deborah decided on the mask when Tommy Lee Wallace kind of created this version. He had a couple ideas. And this is the one he got. You know, he just literally went down to a magic store, a toy store in Hollywood Boulevard, pulled off, looked for a mask that he could kind of manipulate into something strange. And lo and behold, old William Shatner was the candidate. So very clever guy, old Tommy Lee Wallace.
Do you remember the first time you ever put it on, what that moment was like?
Oh, dear. I remember thinking, oh, is that going to be annoying? Because it's going to just wrap around my mouth and I'll suffocate. But no, it actually was pretty loose on my old head. I had a crop of hair back then. It's all gone, of course, now. But I think that allowed it to kind of spread out a little bit and give me some air.
I would imagine, whenever we spoke, you had a mask behind you in your home. I'd imagine wherever you go, they're not too far away. I brought one with me. When was the last time you put one on?
I put one on. I put the 2000 a mask that was given to me that represented the 1978 one a while ago. I put it on and walked over. I did a video of myself on a treadmill with the knife to show David Gordon Green when I did my cameo in the 2018 that I could still walk. You never know with someone my age,
sure.
So he was rolling the dice, saying, "Yeah, you can come and do a cameo." And then I said, "Well, I better show him that I actually am not too feeble." So that was probably the last. No, then when he was going to do the sequel, which is going to come out, as we all know, in October. I did the same thing with the 2018 mask, just for
Are
just
you
for
in
a
Halloween
laugh.
Kills?
Yes. I have a little cameo.
Yes.
But all of the work is done by the great James Jude Courtney.
Who's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
I'm always in awe of a horror movie's ability to change someone's behavior. After Jaws came out, people were afraid to go to the beach. After Psycho with showers. And I got to be honest, in the least psycho way possible, whenever I grab my butcher knife to cut for something, there's a part of me that just for a moment holds it like Michael. Whenever you pull out a butcher knife to just maybe cut some celery, is there a part of you that just kind of holds it like Michael for a second?
Well, not really. I mean, I would, I would enjoy telling you a more spirited story, but I do have knives at home and I do cut vegetables, so it's
but
pretty
not in
normal.
a scary way.
Not in a scary way. That's true.
That was not the answer I was looking for, Nick. I was looking for.
I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely.
This is a nice replica.
No,
though,
it's fantastic. It belongs to a very cool guy over here who also owns that poster, and that's actually his mask as well. He's a big
very
fan.
good. We'll leave it like that.
Whenever the Halloween continuation came out a few years ago, I had the chance to speak with Jamie Lee Curtis, and we spoke about what her October 31sts are like.
Oh.
And I asked her, I said, do you have people just coming up to you at all times and saying, well, watch out for Michael, it's Halloween. And she goes, yeah, but that happens 365 days a year. It doesn't have to be October 31st. I'm curious for you, when the clock strikes midnight on October 31st every year, how does that day hit differently for you?
Well, I keep. It's such a memory of my childhood more than Halloween itself, which is going trick or treating. It was always the fun of dressing up and going out. Unfortunately, at my house, we live in a cul-de-sac in Los Angeles, and we don't get a lot of kids.
No,
we're always ready for them. Yeah. We don't advertise that we're, the Shapes house,
sure.
So we don't get inundated with unruly fans.
Sure.
But it's sad, it's like over the last few years, we've maybe gotten like one or two that ring the bell, and we're out there with our little candy and stuff like that.
Have you ever had a kid dressed as Michael?
No, never.
No,
never have I seen Michael come to my doorstep.
I'm 33, but if you'll tell me your address, I will show up as Michael out your front door.
That's probably why
That's exactly why. I knew it. That's exactly why. I'm sort of curious. I genuinely love, and I don't think this is a misuse of the word, your performance in the film. Mm-hmm. And there's so much physicality to it. What's the most interesting note you got from John whenever you were sort of, because you're just as much an actor as anyone else in this film?
Well, first of all, John refused to give me any direction. I asked him, what do you want out of this thing? And he said, just walk around. And he has gone on to explain that, he always thought my walking, there was a certain grace to it or something. And he attributes that to my father, who was a choreographer, a dance director, and a great dancer. So he figured I had some inherited talent from that, which I don't, by the way. I have two left feet. But in any case, he just basically said walk. And whatever I was doing seemed to, do the job. The one time he did direct me, or he directed me, of course, to go here and go there, was, that's very iconic, was tilting the head, And he asked me to do that within the scene while we were shooting it. And I had absolutely no idea what he was driving at. So a lot of what you see as far as the direction of the character, it really is John saying, go left, go right, go faster, go slower.
That moment in the kill when you tilt your head is a response to him off camera screaming, hey, tilt your head?
Yeah, exactly. Nick, tilt your head left, slow, right, slow. And I'm going, I wonder what he's going after here. Then I saw it in the dailies. Yeah. And, I see it. He's kind of like admiring his kill,
I love that. I want to talk about coming out to an event like this, like Flashback Weekend.
Yeah.
Because horror, more than any genre, at least for me in particular, it's attached to personal memories. Like, I love a lot of movies, but when I think of Halloween, when I think of Friday the 13th, when I think of Nightmare, those are memories I think of, like, with my friends, like watching, the VHS copies, and everyone has a personal moment. I'm curious what it means for you to meet people that, like, you're not just in a movie they saw, like, you were a part of their life growing up.
Oh, yeah. There's... the horror genre, the fans from that world are particular. They really, their first scare, it's like, that's a real interesting kind of memory for an individual. And they, it's a visceral thing. It's even better, not better than, but more powerful than the first laugh, at a comedy or something like that. You really remember it. And these fans just have so much fun with it, and they really do have a fond memory of this character. Of course, he's a serial killer, so you have to wonder. But nonetheless, it's important to folks who, again, like my favorite things were when I was a kid was like watching Elvis Presley movies. And like falling in love with the girls on screen, so I just remember things like that. But a lot of fans go for the dark side, and it's a fascinating thing, and it's I think there's a certain catharsis to it. So it's probably while some people will think is like, why would anybody really want to remember that or be a part of that? But I think for some people it's just like good old-fashioned fun. Yeah.
I'm going to end on a big question, and there's a reason I saved this for the end.
Okay.
Michael is known for surviving and living to see another day. He even with this last one, he survived the fire. He's in the basement. We're getting Halloween kills.
Right.
And he has been with us for almost half a century by this point. Do you believe at some point Michael Myers should die and stay dead?
Michael Myers should die and stay dead. The next movie that flops. Because
So never then.
never, he will be revived at one point. He may die, but then someone will revive it. Like what did David Gordon Green do here? He dismissed all the sequels and decided, I'm going to reinvent the storyline. So, if there's money to be made, Hollywood will do it. But as far as Michael, he's getting old. So am I. We're all going to have to pass away. So we'll see if he hands the torch to somebody else.
I like this.
Oh.
I like this.
Yeah.
And it'll be a kid the kid that finally shows up at your door on
right.
Halloween.
Thanks.
That'll be the
Literally
passing-
trying
yeah.
to kill me.
Have you seen? There's a great video that went viral on TikTok a few weeks ago of a young boy who was having a birthday party, and it was a dress up, and he dressed up as Michael, and I guess they hired someone to come, a family member or something.
I did see that.
How great was that video?
It was great.
And the kid automatically started doing the head tilt. Like I was like, that's my spirit animal, that child.
No, it's a lot of fun. The kids have a lot of fun with this, which is pretty crazy.
It's absolutely fantastic. Mr. Castle, what an absolute honor to speak with you, sir. I appreciate it. I cannot thank you enough for sitting
Thank
down
you.
and talking to me. I know you have
Thanks
a lot
a
going
lot.
on. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for your time.
Sure,
I appreciate
sure.
it.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.